Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Bosnian and welcome back to another one of my videos, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about DLC 4 and what happens after the other two test subjects are killed and their souls are collected. Those two test subjects are Takio and Nikolai, and we need to kill them just like we did in the Giant with Richtofen and in Der Eisendrache with Dempsey. It's the only thing we can do to save the universe, right? But what happens after that? What happens in DLC 4? Obviously, there has to be some sort of a massive, epic conclusion. For now, we're just gonna assume that DLC 2 is Takio's map and DLC 3 is gonna be Nikolai's map because one map is in Pohnpei, which is really close to Japan, and Takio is Japanese. The other map is in Russia, in Stalingrad or Volgograd, depending on the time period in the map. So that one is going to be for Nikolai. So again, what does that mean for DLC 4? What kind of a conclusion are we going to be having? When I say conclusion, that doesn't mean the whole storyline is going to end, but it definitely has to end with some sort of a bang. I think that Shadows of Evil was just a start for the apothicans, and that they are definitely coming back, but in a very big way. It's almost like they're sitting there and waiting. Remember, the Shadow Man is inside of the summoning key, and he cannot wait to get out. I can't imagine what Dempsey's soul and Richtofen's soul are going through being in there with him, because their souls are already collected in the summoning key, and they need Takio's and Nikolai's next. So who knows what the Shadow Man is doing with them inside of that summoning key. But I'm gonna show you guys a story that is told in Der Eisendrache via paintings. This, in my opinion, is probably extremely important for the future, and we've been hinted at this epic conclusion for a while now, and the way our characters in the map react to these paintings makes it seem as if they aren't aware of it, and all the statues that they see of themselves around the castle and in Origins, the premise note and the mural on the wall in Shadows of Evil are really just a prophecy, and the actual event hasn't happened yet, but it will in DLC 4 as the epic conclusion to the zombie storyline, or at least the one that we know now. The 4 paintings that you thought were in a random order are really always in the same order. You just have to know how to tell the story, which is what I'm gonna do right now. I gotta give credit to Rizole25. I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly. I probably butchered it. I'm sorry about that, but he made an amazing post on the COD Zombies forums, and I want to thank him for explaining this whole thing, so I gotta give credit to him. But anyways, the first painting is of the king and his 2 wolves, clearly praying or doing something, pretty much prepping themselves for war. The 2 wolves explain why the wolf bow is represented by the double-headed wolf crest. When you walk up to it, this is what the characters say. I'm sorry, I don't have the actual audio. I couldn't really press on the painting with every single character. That would kind of take a while, but I'm just gonna read off what they say here. Dempsey says, "I've seen my fair share of war, never seen a happy ending." Nikolai says, "Great kings prepare for battle, man's best friend at his side." Takio says, "Even a great king can learn from a dog." And Richtofen just says, "Ah, here is the first one. I've been looking for you." The second painting shows the king riding out with one of his wolves, and if you look at the bottom, you can see that one of his wolves has already died. And that is horrendously sad. Dempsey says, "A man's only as strong as his friend by his side. The king has his hounds. What do I got?" Nikolai says, "Whenever armies clash, men are lost in sea of swords. Such is war." Takio says, "Many died this day. Their souls cry out through the painting." Richtofen says, "This would be number 2. Thank you." So as you can see, Richtofen is a heartless bastard. The third painting shows the battlefield, and everything is completely scorched, and it shows a giant kraken in the sky, just like in Shadows of Evil. The war is against the apothicans, which again are all the strange creatures we see in Shadows of Evil. Dempsey says, "They say war is hell, but this looks like a war with hell." And that one indicates that Dempsey pretty much believes that it's a war against some sort of a different type of enemy, not just humans against humans. Nikolai says, "What is that thing? We won't fight that thing, will we?" Takio says, "I have heard many tales of such creatures. I fear they may be more than just folklore." Richtofen says, "Number 3, a personal favorite. Last time I saw this was when I picked up the key." The last painting shows the king lying dead, and what seems to be the big guy from Buried behind him, clearly upset about his death. This storyline is just giving me a headache. Why is the big guy from buried there? I really don't know. Dempsey's reaction to the painting is outnumbered and outgunned. Not even his big-ass dogs could protect him. Nikolai's reaction was, this is not really an uplifting story, and it's not. Takio says, no mortal could hope to achieve victory against such evil. And Richtofen says, and number 4. Unfortunately, dear king, battling that particular evil only ever has one outcome. By that, we can tell that Richtofen kind of knows who the king was going to battle with, and again, that was the apothicans. So anyways, our story doesn't end here though. It seems that once Group 935 took the castle, they assembled the remains of the king's hounds. However, they were missing one of the hounds' skulls. It is located by the flag seen above the rocket pad. Once returned, the spirit of the hound appears and digs in 3 spots where the king's remains are scattered. He was never given a proper burial, and now the hounds want you to return his master's remains to his crypt and coffin. Once done, his skeleton will reform in the coffin and present to you the fixed wolf bow arrow. Now, with his master finally at rest, the spirit of the hound will howl and vanish. So that pretty much explains why there is a ghost dog or a wolf that leads you to those places to dig up those bones, and it's actually a really sad story, but there are a lot of things to get out of this story regardless. So my first question here is, how is the big guy from buried there? And how did he get to buried from there? And is the epic conclusion that we've been hinted at through so many things depicted in these paintings? To answer the first question, I have no clue how the big guy ended up in a random western town, how that just happened to somehow get temporally displaced to Africa by the moon rock. It's just completely random. And to answer the second question, I believe that what's being depicted in these paintings is what happens when our characters don't go back in time to help them battle the apothicans. Why do you think the premise image from Origins shows a crowd of happy people, and that their statues are everywhere in Der Eisendrache and in Origins by the staves, and also the mural shows them fighting off the apothicans in a great battle along with the king right beside them? It also seems as if the keepers are fighting with them, and by all indication from the events in Shadows of Evil, the keepers are there to help us. The only reason we fought a giant keeper boss inside of the MPD in Der Eisendrache was because the keeper was corrupted by its intense dark force. That's why you see him turn black when he teleports back from the moon. I mean, why do you think a sweet little girl like Samantha who loves to draw would suddenly become the evilest entity in the universe? Her dad was obviously killed in front of her, so I bet that's kind of why she was mad. But then she was also trapped inside of the MPD, which made it like a billion times worse. So with the combined rage and the evil power, she essentially became insanely scary as fuck. But anyways, what I think is going to happen here is our characters will accidentally release the Shadow Man, or maybe Richtofen is still evil and just releases him for fun or something, and then they have to save the world in an all-out epic war against the apothicans. But don't worry guys, it's not the end of the world because they obviously win. Wait, they do win, right? I mean, it shows them standing up on a hill while everybody praises them. I mean, they won, right? Wrong, because Primus fails. Remember the cipher that says Primus fails? Yep, we're all gonna die. In all seriousness, I'm really not sure what is happening here. It's all just insanely confusing, and I just simply love the zombies storyline. It is an absolutely amazing game. Treyarch has outdone themselves this year, and just throughout all of the zombies iterations, even if they had no clue what they were doing, they made something absolutely amazing. But besides that, let's continue talking about this. I want to talk about Takio and why he is on a cross in the mural. Takio is an extremely important character. Why do you think he sees a man in shadow in his dreams? It's the Shadow Man. Takio has committed many sins in his lifetime, and his sins only serve as an invitation to an evil beyond anyone's imagination. So you guys have obviously heard that before. I personally think that he's going to be playing a big role in the 4th DLC and that his soul is going to be cleansed or something like that. I personally think that he's going to be playing a big role in the 4th DLC and that his soul is going to be cleansed. Something like that might happen because they're obviously crucifying him, so there might be getting rid of his sins or something like that. I'm really not sure, but honestly, it's really all Nero's fault because he helped the Shadow Man summon all the evil to Morgue City because Shadow Man needed someone to do all the black magic for him so his friends the apothicans could come in and invade the dimension. Now, obviously, Nero didn't do that because he was evil or anything like that. The Shadow Man pretty much convinced him to do it. In conclusion, I think that DLC 4 is going to be huge and that the battle with the apothicans will play out in an epic fashion. So what do you guys think is going to be happening in DLC 4? What do you think the conclusion is? If you go and watch my last video, I think that the introduction to the apothicans is going to happen. I mean, we already kind of had the introduction, but I think the continuation of the apothicans is going to happen in DLC 2 because it's going to be taking place in Pompeii, which is near Non-Medal, and I'm pretty certain that it's going to be in Non-Medal, which is connected to a lot of Lovecraftian mythos, and I do believe that at some point in the map we'll be able to see Cthulhu, and you guys should probably go watch that video now if you want an explanation to it. It's the last video, it's the video before this, but that's gonna be it, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a rating, please subscribe, and have a wonderful day. And let me know down in the comment section below what you think about all of this. Do you think it's absolutely insane? Do you love the zombie storyline like me? I absolutely adore the zombie storyline, but that's gonna be it. See you later.